Purple brain, purple brain.
Why did you call the movie Stop Making Sense?
Because it's good advice.
The 90s. The 90s. Look at this, the New Mutants' first appearance of cable. I remember buying this. In the US, you would have paid $1. In the Netherlands, we paid almost 3 guilders. A little bit more expensive, but you gotta have your Liefeld and your McFarlane, of course, right? And Rob, we all love Rob, and Rob loves us. Look, here he's tweeting about his X-Force of 91. I used to have that one. Look, my issue number 1 survived about 20 years in pristine condition until my basement flooded. Great memories discovering that series way back when. And Rob, he cares. Look, I'm so sorry. Thanks for being a part of it all. Yes, that's why we love Rob. But recently, he tweeted something that apparently was so upsetting that he deleted it again. This tweet was deleted by the tweet author. But here, look, someone is commenting. This right here is spot on. Thanks, Rob. The 90s were the best comics. Luckily for us, there are people who make screen captures. And Comics by Perch, the YouTube channel, actually did a little piece about this. This tweet by Rob. Man, the entire X-Men office needs to be locked in a room with the 90s cartoon and remember what made this concept, these characters, soar. Like refresher courses immediately. Yeah, I think I might agree. Especially if you look at this 10 of Swords or X of Swords, or whatever you want to call it. But do we really need to go back to the 90s, Rob? And why did you choose the 90s? Maybe that's one of the reasons why he deleted this tweet, because subsequent tweets were, let's say a little bit more about the legacy before the 90s, and especially when it's about the X-Men. You are, of course, talking about this legacy. I don't know if you know these, but if you can grab them and buy them, they're pretty cheap. They are called the Essential, and then there's different ones for different groups, I guess. And this is volume 1 and 2 for the X-Men. This one covers the original X-Men 1 to 24 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And so it's not in color, and that is actually why I bought them, because you really get to see the Kirby line art. I don't know if someone is complaining about a lot of text in current comics, but I mean Stan Lee, he was wordy, man. And then this one is Uncanny X-Men number 120 to 144, Chris Claremont and John Byrne. Also beautiful black and white. I think Cartoonist Kayfabe did an episode about this one recently. But what I want to just very shortly comment on Rob's tweets and comments about the 90s being great, or this being great, or this being great. I think the actual problem is right here in the beginning, where we have the credits. So these are the credits for number 1 to number 24. And what do we see? Writer Stan Lee, penciler Jack Kirby. Writer Stan Lee, penciler Jack Kirby. This is a Stan Lee Jack Kirby run. And it's them. 24 issues. Okay, at some point we lose Stan, and then Roth takes over, first using a pseudonym. But anyway, so there was in my impression at least is that there was much more collaboration between the writer and the penciler, and this what is this about? This has all the characteristic lore, all the great characters that we have learned to love. Some of them still in a different form here, but by the way, this is actually the entrance of Iceman, right? He's wearing these weird boots, and he's on a pole. I don't know how to, a stripper pole. I don't know how to say it. So if you have any doubts that there might be some truth behind the rumors about his sexual orientation, I don't know. Look at this. Anyway. And he also very famously, when Jean Grey arrives, these young boys here are making misogynist comments. I guess that's how we should interpret them today. She's a living doll, a redhead. Look at that face, and the rest of her. All of a sudden, I'm in no hurry to graduate from this place. But what does Iceman say? A girl? Big deal. Glad I'm not a wolf like you guys. But seriously, I don't think this means that Iceman was actually meant to be gay or something else, bisexual or something like that. But this is how you comment on your fellows being, a bit rude, a bit of locker room talk here, and then you have a character disagreeing with that behavior. Okay, that's how you talk about these things, and you don't, do it like this done in the modern comics. At least I prefer this. But we get introductions of Magneto. We get all the great characters that we know are in here. Also the not so great characters, Namor. This is a great story with, with atomic bombs. Of course, we go to the Savage Land, and we have some space adventures as well. And don't forget about the there we go, the Sentinels. Right, let's look at this volume, volume 2 of Uncanny X-Men, issues 120 to 144. And this, of course, features another power duo. Here we have them. Marvel, that's really artsy. It's interesting, they put the page numbers here, but there's no no page numbering. Anyway, look, co-plot and script, Chris Claremont. Co-plot and penciler, John Byrne. Okay, so we have a duo here, right? They are co-creating, co-plotting. I think they call themselves, the co-plotters inside. And this went on, of course, let's see, 1979, 1980, 1981. And 97 is when this was published, I think. So, another team that was on there for 25 issues and covering maybe a collaboration that was much longer, maybe 3 years. And what did they bring us? Well, some of the most iconic X-Men stories. Of course, we have new characters here, but we have the storylines like the Dark Phoenix is in here. We have the Days of Future Past is in here. We have the introduction of Kitty Pryde. That's in here. We have, Murder World. Okay, that's of course nice. But, oh, look. If you're wondering why current comics, Colossus is being treated so poorly by his fellow mutants, well, no longer am I the X-Men Colossus, a traitor to his motherland and his people. Now I am the proletarian. the workers' hero of the Soviet Union. Yeah, I don't know if you could do this in today's comics, but well, you could of course make him a suspect of being, you know, collaborating with the old motherland. And yeah, look, some AAT on Storm. No, so we have lots of iconic stories. The Hellfire Club scheming is introduced. We have the Dark Phoenix. We have, you know, you can't do the Dark Phoenix saga if you're not introducing the whole space, the Marvel space scene with the help they get, of course, from their space buddies. Here we have the Dark Phoenix. Yeah. And okay, so is this all due to the fact that we have a very creative co-plotting duo here? I think we do. And the same was the case here. So here we have also 1963, 1964, 1965, 1966. You know, this covers, well, if you look at the numbers here, almost 4 years, and probably much more collaboration. And we have Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And yeah, they created the IP, let's say. They created these very iconic characters. Yeah, if you think about the way the current comics are created, you of course have Jonathan Hickman, who's sort of the coordinator, you notice that at the moment that he is not 200% on it, you know, things go very wrong, and you know, there's so many benefits of having the artist as the co-creator of the story. I mean, it's a visual medium. We want to, you know, you want to tell the story visually. It's not the case that the artist is just like an output medium. You know, fill in the right commands, and then you know, the artist will put out something. No, you have to. This has to be an organic. Co-conspiring to make this comic, and I think the benefits are very much seen here. Of course, you have powerhouse people like McFarlane who might unite these talents, and Rob Liefeld, of course, also. Of course, Rob. Of course, we love you, Rob. But you know, in indie comics, you see this more often, like someone like Dave Sim and other indie creators who have been writing and penciling their books for a long time. So it's not always guaranteed. Not every page in this book, not every story is like brilliant. But you know, if you give people time, you get stuff that we still talk about today. You get stuff that we still remember today, and of which we want to make actual movies and then film. But anyway, what do you think? Is this a fair assessment of one of the things that might be going wrong right now? Not just with the X-Men, but with modern comics. So you know, are we giving writers way too much credit, and should we get the credits back to the creators? You know, you can have DC examples as well. I think that Jeff Johns, Ethan Van Sciver run on the Green Lantern is unmistakably has been extremely popular. And if you see the announcements right now, they want to do a television series of those, you know, with those characters, and also movie attempts have been done. Attempts. Anyway, yeah. So let me know if you think this is something that's interesting, that is indeed a factor, or if it's not, tell me as well. And subscribe to the channel, and click the notifications if you want to be updated. I will cover these types of topics. I'm not going to cover new comics. Some people do that much better than I. But I might look in my library and pick out some maybe some quirky stuff from the past that you might not be aware of, and talk about that and review that, and maybe also some lesser known work also from around the world, Europe and Japan. So if you think that's interesting, just subscribe and click the notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.
Purple brain, purple brain.